everybody. Welcome to another episode of We Watch Shudder. My name is JD. Who's here with me?
It's Michelle, and my tongue's fucked up.
Your tongue's fucked up? Is that from the salsa?
No. I always, sometimes I go into this, I'm like, this is a thing I want to talk about, and it's kind of weird, and I'm just going to wait till we're recording. So JD and I will talk for 5 or 10 minutes before we start recording. He has no idea what's going on with my tongue, but I do.
I would like to say I never know what's going on with your tongue, and that is exactly how it should be. Or I should say I never know unless you specifically tell me. And
well, I'm going to tell you.
Okay, that's fine. But I just want to make that clear. It's not odd that I don't know what's going on with your tongue.
I think the fact that my tongue has a Twitter and you don't follow it, where it's just tweeting hey, it's a good day to eat some bananas. No. Anyway,
some of us ignore the Musk media these days, Michelle.
Oh yeah, that's true. I keep forgetting, and
should have went with your tongue has an Instagram.
Yeah, my tongue is an Instagram, taking selfies.
That's goddamn Zuckerberg, man. There's going to come a point where we can't do social media anymore, isn't there?
Yeah, we should be at that point already. That's a whole other discussion. Let me tell you about my fucking tongue. So, I went to see Undertone, and I didn't enjoy it. That's a whole other thing. And it's not the movie's fault. It's one of those, this is not for me kind of things. But throughout the movie, I was not interested. So I had purchased some Airhead Extremes, at the concession stand. And I did not pay attention. Right? Yep. And I ate all of them just out of boredom. And that was 2 days ago. And today, I, like a snake, shed my tongue, and it feels bizarre. So, I'm having a hard time talking.
You shed your tongue?
Yeah, and I did have to Google it, because here's the thing. I listened to an entire podcast all about the history of sour candy and how it's actually an acid, and people have gotten massive chemical burns from it. So I knew all this and would never have eaten a full bag of very sour candy if I had been in the right mindset to stop myself from doing that. So I did have to Google and be like, this isn't one of those crazy serious cases where my tongue is permanently damaged, is it? And it was like, no, it's perfectly natural for the acid in candy to destroy your tongue for a little bit. And I was like, that doesn't sound natural to me, but it does sound like I'm not going to have massive problems from this. So that's okay.
This is interesting to me because I have at times in my life consumed a frankly obscene amount of very sweet and sour candy, and that has never happened to me.
Yep. I love sour candy. It's my favorite. And this is the first time that's happened before.
I do see that. Yeah, that is a thing. I'm so glad that's never happened to me. I would freak I'm like, why is my tongue peeling?
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. I was sitting here eating, and then all of a sudden I went, what's going on in my mouth? There's some weird stuff happening in there. And that's never a good thing.
No, it's never good when you don't know what's happening in your mouth.
Yeah. Where I'm like, this is a weird feeling. Why am I losing my taste buds and sensation on part of my tongue? It felt like when you go to the dentist and you get Novocaine and your tongue's numb for a while. That's what it feels like. So that might be a thing.
Well, now here's where this becomes a fun transition, Michelle. Apparently the therapy portion this week is us talking about our the weird
tongues.
ways acid affects our bodies. Consider for a minute then what that same acid is doing to your gut once it makes its way down there, right? I started taking that Ozempic shit a while back, and it's doing wonders for my blood sugar. But I don't know if you guys, I don't know if I've talked about this on the show before or not, but just in case, if this is your first time tuning in, first of all, thank you for checking out the show. Here's a lesson in GLP-1s. First of all, they developed them from a chemical extracted from Gila monster venom, and I will always make sure to tell people that because it's fucking rad. But the way it works is it slows down how fast your body processes digestion, so you stay fuller longer. And the problem with that is I also have a lifetime of bad relationship with food, and boredom overeating and stress overeating. And guess who's been both bored and stressed a lot lately? Anyway, the other day for lunch I ate way too many chicken fries, and then for dinner I ate way too much spaghetti pasta, and I spent the entire night every hour and a half, 2 hours or so, just getting up and heaving my guts to the point where most of it was just painful dry heaving. I know this is wonderful radio for people, but and that's all because of the insane amount of acids in a lot of the stuff. Because there's like I also drank a lot of sugar-free soda pops because I like fizzy pops and I like sweet beverages, but there's tons of fucking acid in that. Turns out there's a lot of goddamn acid in a lot of food, and it'll fuck you up.
You know what would be an interesting thing to do?
What would that be?
Observe your insides. Perhaps we could call it a body cam.
Oh, well done, Michelle, to bring us out of that
Thank
very
you.
bizarre therapy portion today. Bodycam, that's the movie we're here to talk about. That, as always, if you probably knew that on account of how it's on the title of the episode.
But they might have read the title, so I'm not going to assume. You know what they say when you assume?
Bodycam.
You make an ass of yourself. Not me. Just you.
You know what they say about assumptions? You'll make an ass of you and umption.
Okay.
Bodycam.
Bodycam. It's a movie.
It is. It's a
movie and we watched
75-minute movie, Michelle. That is the
It
first
is.
thing I want to say before I say anything else at all. This is a 75-minute movie, and you know how happy that makes me. That's like an immediate, in a lot of ways, like you would have to do something real bad as a 75-minute movie to get anything lower than a 2. You would have to do something real terrible, because 75 minutes, at least you got in and got out, right? I got mad respect for that. But of course, I didn't know that going in. I didn't know it was only going to be a 75 banger. That's not a thing anybody's ever said. I'm not going to say it again. But
I mean, I know certain people who would use the phrase 75 bangers for some things in their lives. That could be relevant.
Oh, God. Well, okay, fine. Other than that, all I knew about this going in is it was a found footage movie, and it was made by Brandon Christensen, who has a couple of movies that we've talked about on the show, Puppet Man and Night of the Reaper. What did you know about Bodycam going in, Michelle?
Found footage, and that I had previously upset the director. Those are
I
my
don't
two
think
bits
you
of info.
upset him, Michelle.
For those who don't know, I really did not like The Puppet Man. And of course, as always happens, if I don't like a movie, that's the one that the filmmaker winds up listening to the episode for. And he was like, hey, you know all that stuff you had to say? There's a reason for it, which I disagree with the logic. But
Well,
I was like, I'm so sorry that I shit on your film. But it was also funny. So
I
screwed.
I guess I haven't ever gone back and listened to the episode because that's not a thing I usually do. But I don't think you
That was brutal.
shit on the film. Were you?
Oh,
really?
yeah. Oh, yeah. I went off.
Oh,
But it was
well.
very funny, so it was okay.
It's especially funny because not only was it one that that Michelle was particularly not fond of, it is one that as a time I gave a 5-skull review because I saw it and I fucking loved it. And I've gone back and watched the movie again. I don't know that I would go that high in retrospect, but I always go with my gut in those situations, and I had a fucking really good time watching that movie. Some incredible practical effects in it and some rad gore. But so that was an even more embarrassing element of it, is not only had she at least, like, maybe if we had at least both been a little rough, then it wouldn't have been so bad. But sorry,
Well,
Michelle.
at least I did enjoy that you liked it and he listened to it, though, because then it was like he wasn't just going to hate our whole show.
Right,
If
just
he was
you.
upset, he was still listening to you be like, I fucking love this movie. What the fuck are you talking about? And I'm over here like, the police, which is a thing we have to talk about.
I don't think he
But
was
we'll get to that
terribly
later.
upset, Michelle. Interestingly, though, the next of his films that we reviewed, Night of the Reaper, was kind of a reverse situation. You were much higher on that than I was. I only had a 2.5 on that, and I'm looking at the chart. Apparently, you gave it a 4.36. And so, we've had some interesting experience with Brandon's work. He also did, we were talking before we went on the mic, he did a movie called Superhost, which I know I've seen, but I don't remember a lot about. Have you saw Superhost as well, Michelle? Are you back?
Yeah, I am. I can't handle technology today. I just cannot. Right before, we almost didn't record this today because I had a little bit of a meltdown because I got blocked from our website while I was updating the Squelch files. I don't know what I did. GoDaddy has replaced their live support with fucking robots who are no help whatsoever. So I had to create a ticket, and I know that ticket, it said it would take up to 72 hours to get back to me. But they asked how I want my response, normal or nerdy. So I'm like, you're going to still send my support ticket to a fucking robot and it's going to take 3 days to get back to me? What are you, like, plus, I don't need you to have me pick a tone. Just tell me how to fix it. I was tempted to click nerdy just so that I would get enraged by whatever response, like as an experiment, but I couldn't do it to myself. I did choose normal, which, what the fuck? Anyway,
yeah.
So Audacity is back up.
Michelle's had a rough
and that's
night,
good.
guys.
And I've just had panic attacks all day, all week. I had a little bit of a mental breakdown on Thursday, just a little one. I came out of it. We were fine, but there was a moment of like, I should drive my car into oncoming traffic because if I was permanently disabled, I wouldn't have to do any of the things that I'm obligated to do in my life. And also people would feel bad for me. So I did have that for a little bit, but then I took a nap and I ate some food and I felt better.
Yeah, every now and then a little bit of a sleepies and a little piece of cheese is a good thing for the soul. Yeah.
That's what I needed.
So
and then I ate too many fucking sour candies, and now I'm in a bad mood again.
Oh, it's fine. Everybody gets bad moods. I believe where we lost contact with you, Michelle, I was asking you. I just mentioned that we were talking about other movies that Brandon Christensen had done, and I brought up Superhost. Have you seen Superhost?
Yes, and I don't remember how I felt about it.
I don't really remember either. I saw it at a time where I was still kind of heavily drugged up a lot of the time, and I don't have a lot of clear memory of it. But very interested in checking it out again at some point. And then also another movie called Z, which I know for sure I have not seen, and you know for sure you have. Is that correct?
Yes, and I enjoyed it.
Sweet.
So I'm all over the place with this man.
Hey,
he needs to be consistent.
It's
How
fine.
dare he?
People do a lot of work, and sometimes you're gonna think they hit, and sometimes they didn't. Which brings us to Bodycam.
Which brings us to our lives. Okay, Bodycam. Do you want to read the Descrippy script?
I
JD?
do. This is a slightly modified Descrippy script from Shudder because it's just one sentence, but there is still a mild spoiler in it, so I removed the mild spoiler. Here we go. 2 police officers investigate a disturbance call. Bodycam. 2025. 75 beautiful minutes. Directed by Brandon Christensen, written and directed by Ryan and Brandon Christensen. Michelle.
Yeah.
Hit us with your spoiler-free thoughts about Bodycam.
Will do. First, I need to say that I think the culprit for why my Audacity stopped before was my cat did dash across my desk like she was seeing a spider. So for the last 3 minutes, we've both been staring off into the corner. So I think when she did that, she stopped my recording. But it was for important reasons because now there might be a fucking spider in my room.
No.
But she has seen nothing. So I need to just make sure she stays off the fucking laptop. Anyway, my thoughts on Bodycam. My thoughts are all over the place today, including with this movie. Like JD said, The Puppet Man was a 1.5 for me and a 5 for JD. I don't like that we are reviewing this man's movies as much as we have been because now it just feels like I'm bullying him. Like I have a personal
Michelle,
vendetta.
you just got done
Don't
saying
interrupt
you
me.
Really...
Don't interrupt me. Let me finish. I have a sworn vendetta, apparently, against Brandon Christensen, where I'm like, this man will know no sleep. I probably just didn't know he did Night of the Reaper. If I had known, oh man, -3 skulls just because of him and who he is as a person. This one, I knew it was Brandon Christensen, so I went in and I'm like, I really hope I like this, because he listened to the other episode where I didn't, and I really hope I like this so that I don't have to have a second episode where then he's gonna listen to it and be like, this person is a cunt, you know? And he wouldn't even be entirely wrong, but I do feel bad about it. Also, the other episode about the Puppet Man, I went off about the police, and this is a whole police movie, and oh boy, I hate that we have a gimmick that we have to stick to. I did not enjoy Bodycam. I'm going with a 1.89.
Okay, first of all, I want to apologize for interrupting, Michelle. But I do also want to point out that the only reason I was interrupting was to defend you against yourself. Because you just got done talking. Like, we just mentioned that the guy has 4 other movies, and you enjoy 2 of them and didn't enjoy 2 of them. That, or at least one of them, all you know is you don't remember it well enough to even know for sure how you felt about it. Which...
Oh, so you're interrupting to correct me?
Because you're wrong. Because
No,
you're
that's fair.
wrong and being mean
Can't help
to
it
my
when bitches
friend.
are wrong.
You don't get to be mean to my friend just because it's you, Michelle.
Yeah, that's fair, I guess. But she's just the worst sometimes, and she deserves it. Okay. JD, I gotta know what your thoughts on this are, because I have no idea.
Well, let's make it short and sweet here, Michelle. The good thing for you this time around is you're not the only one in that boat. This didn't really do much for me at all. There are things about it as a found footage film that I really, really appreciate. I don't want to spoil any of that until the time comes. And I will say that, like, the first half of this movie, I was like, all right, what's going on here? And then it does some things towards the end and makes some choices that just weren't really my vibe. Some decisions that I personally wouldn't have made, but I didn't make the movie. I'm coming in, it didn't do anything that severely offended me or made me really upset. So I'm coming in a 2 skull on this one, just a little bit higher than you.
Okay. And mine probably would have been a 2 if I wasn't doing this thing where I have to add multiple tenths and hundredths and thousandths for some reason, because I got tired of having too many 4s. Anyway, I'm in my head again. Get out of my head. Get out of my head.
Get out of
Think
your
about
head.
the tongue. Bring myself back to reality by thinking about how I can't feel half my tongue. Okay, we're back.
Snap back to
Yes,
reality. Oh, there goes gravity.
Oh. Oh shit. I'll be right back. I am floating. Okay. Should we get to the TBI TLDR?
Yeah, this is, again, if you're tuning in for the first time, this is the part where everything from here is super, super spoilery. And that super, super spoilery section begins with Michelle giving us what we have dubbed Michelle's TBI TLDR, a.k.a. the impromptu plot summary, factoring in the fact that Michelle has a traumatic brain injury that affects her memory. It's always a good time.
So
I suddenly feel like I'm being really mean calling this your TBI TLDR. Probably because I just spent all this time defending you. I'm just sensitive right now.
No, I love it. And full transparency and some honesty out there is I feel like my memory has been getting even worse lately, to a point where I'm like, oh, fuck, am I deteriorating really fast? Because I've been just at this plateau since I got better from my car accident, and so I've been freaking out a little bit, and so being able to just do a little segment is a good little exercise for me each week of like, okay, try to retain the information, do your best to retain the information, see if you can bring it back in a day or two, because the information's in there, it just doesn't come back out. I don't know what the word for that specific thing is, but it's very irritating. It gives me a headache trying, so it's a good little exercise to try to keep my brain from fucking up so badly. So let's see how it goes, shall we?
Do it!
Okay. TBI TLDR. So there's some cops, Officer Jackson and Officer Bryce. There's also a character named Michelle, and she's my favorite and the best one, and she is a sweet angel who can do no wrong, and definitely the best person in this movie. When we reviewed Puppet Man, I went on a long rant about the police, and now this is a whole movie about really terrible cops. A-cab, all cops are bastards? Maybe. T-cab, these cops are bastards? Absolutely. These people work in law enforcement and have no idea how to cover up a murder, which is crazy. They could have just called any middle-aged white woman and asked, like, hey, on the true crime documentaries that you obsess over, who's almost gotten away with it? And they could have gotten some ideas. For example, one thing is that you do not just dig your hands into a corpse to pull bullet pieces out. That's going to leave some DNA and also some questions about what the fuck just happened. And then you don't take your bloody hand and you go sit at the kitchen table for a while and drip everywhere. Anyway, the actual story. 2 cops respond to a disturbance call, and they get there, and they hear people shouting, and they're like, oh, fuck, oh, no, oh, God, what do we do? Call the police? Oh, no, we are the police. So they go in, and then they go different places, because there's 2 of them, and they can split up, you know, Scooby-Doo style. So the one guy, he goes upstairs, and he sees a lady, and the other guy, he goes downstairs, and he sees a whole-ass man, a whole-ass man, and the man's coming towards him, and so what does he do? He fires his gun without any care if the man is armed or not. He claims that the guy was armed, but he definitely was not. And yes, I do see your dog, JD, and I appreciate you showing me your dog. So he kills this guy, and then he's like, oh man, that guy definitely had a gun, and then he goes over and nope, not a gun, a fucking baby. So he just shot and killed a baby, and he's like, oh no, I'm about to go viral for all the wrong reasons. So then he's like, we gotta cover this shit up. And then the woman comes downstairs, and she's like, whoa, and then so they chase after her, and they chase her into an alleyway, and she's like, oh, you belong to him now, and she slits her own throat, and then she goes to attack the one cop, and he kills her, and now he's covered in blood. And this is such a major pet peeve of mine that has started ever since I watched Malum, which is when people want to have their filmmakers want to have their characters drenched in blood, but they don't want to fuck up their costume. So this guy is completely covered in blood on his head and his hands, but the costume, they're like, just a couple speckles here and there that we can easily wash out, and drives me crazy. Just don't drench them, because that's all I'm looking at. And because in Malum, they drenched the girl and then they drew her fucking eyebrows on over it, and you will never unsee it if you notice it, because it is clear that they were like, oh shit, she looks weird without eyebrows, and they drew her eyebrows on the fake blood. So that's the thing that happens. And it's one of those that immediately I'm like, no, why did they do this? Just don't drench them. You don't have to drench them in blood. I promise, it's optional. So then this guy, he's like, hey, we're terrible cops. Let's try to hide this. And they're like, okay. And that doesn't work, because this guy, Officer Bryce, I don't know about Officer Jackson. He's definitely complicit in what's happening, but he doesn't seem as idiotic as Officer Bryce. Officer Bryce is a dumb man. The smartest thing that he ever did was marrying a person named Michelle. Again, the best part of this movie, just A+, wonderful. Oh, a fellow wonderful Michelle. Of course, we all are. Played by Elizabeth Longshaw, you know, the true star of this film. So this cop, he's like, hey, I clearly have a connection to erasing body cam footage because I've done this before, and you're going to know that because I'm going to walk in a store and the guy's going to point me in the back without saying anything. I'm going to walk in there. There's going to be a woman. She's going to be like, not again. But she didn't say that. I don't remember what she said. So she goes to fix the footage so that the cop can look less like a cop doing cop things. And then she sees the woman saying that you belong to him now, you belong to the guy, the name, we'll call him Barney. Yes, JD, do you remember the name?
The Underman.
Underman, thank you. I wanted to say the Undertaker, and I knew that was wrong, but I could not. Okay, the Underman. So yeah, I was just like, I heard the music from wrestling pop in my brain. I was like, that would have been a much better movie if the Undertaker was after them.
It would have been.
But yes.
This movie, but it's The Undertaker.
Exactly. And like you hear his music before you see him. Okay, so she's like, you belong to the Underman now. And the woman sees that and she's like, oh no, you got to get the fuck out of here. And they're like, why? And she's like, I'm not going to tell you anything because that would be too easy for the movie. So they leave and they're like, what the fuck is going on? And then they get a call and they found the woman's body in the alley. And they're like, okay, we're going to tell them we're responding to the scene because they're going to respond to the scene that they did. They're the culprits. They already solved the crime. Good job. Everybody go home. So they get there, but the woman's gone. Oh no! This entire plan that was very bad to begin with is falling apart even more so. So then the guy, Officer Jackson, he goes into a little trance. He's having some weird issues today. So Officer Jackson's like, I'm gonna take you to my mom's house because all grown men, sometimes they just need a little help from their mom. You know, sometimes they're like, I'm still a tiny child inside. And I get that. I understand that sentiment. Sometimes you just need your mama. So he goes to see his mom, but she is less than thrilled to see him. And she's like, oh my God, a cab. And he's like, but mom, I'm your son. And she's like, oh, sorry, I keep forgetting. Essentially is what happens. But she's talking to Officer Jackson. She learns that the Underman is after them. And she's like, oh, hell no, you got to get on my house. And then there's all these people just like staring up at the ceiling, just being all weird. And it's like, what's going on in this house, man? No idea. We're leaving. And they also tried to drive someplace and a bunch of people were staying in the road and being like, ha ha ha, you think you have any power here? Which again, the Undertaker in that scene would have added so much to it. Eventually they wind up, Officer Jackson sees his wife, but doesn't see his wife and then throws himself off a roof. And that's great, because he is the worst part of this movie. Fuck that guy in particular. I know that Jamie Mkalika, who played him, probably isn't a piece of shit, but man, Officer Jackson can fuck right off. Then Officer Sean Rogerson. I'm so sorry. That's the one who can fuck right off. Officer Jackson, fine. Not great. Clearly complicit. But Officer Bryce is the big old dummy in this one. I need to be very clear about that. So Officer Jackson, he's trying to drive away and he keeps winding up at the same house. And he calls his mom. He's like, I keep winding up at this house. And she's like, oh, shit. And then so he goes inside the house. And then he comes across Officer Bryce, whose wife is now giving birth. Oh, my God. We completely missed the whole thing of like the Underman took his wife but replaced his wife with the woman who was going to help him erase the camera footage, and then her mouth got real big and it was like, damn, girl. So that'll happen. But Officer Bryce is helping his wife Michelle give birth, and then the weirdest little creature guy who apparently is the Underman. And I will tell you that I was watching this alone, and when I saw him, I went, you've got to be fucking kidding me, out loud. So that's how I felt about that. And then Officer Jackson has a sister, and now she's back, but also possessed, and they're like, oh, we're going to be a happy little cult family for the Underman. And then the mom shows up, and she's like, because it's a family sitcom now. And she's like, oh, this is really silly. And it just would have been better if The Undertaker came out instead. That's all. The end. Bodycam.
What if Michelle, if it's just the monster at the end, the Underman was the Undertaker, so you don't see him at all until when the Underman finally appears in this movie, but then it's the fucking Undertaker.
That's what I'm saying. I need whatever it would take to replace that thing, because one of the things, even though I didn't enjoy the Puppet Man because I was very irritated by the story, similar to what's going on here where I just got hung up on a lot of things, the thing that people loved about it, including yourself, were the effects. And so why would you take one of the things that is a great strength of yours and replace it with that? That motherfucker is what we get? That's what we're going with?
I really agree with you. I did not care for the design and execution of that creature. It didn't work for me, especially because like in most of the shots where you see it, I know especially in the final shots where it's like super up close with the camera, it looks like it's digitally like distorted. Like the creature itself is somehow distorted within the framework of the video. And I guess maybe that's what they were going for, is the cameras can't even, completely render it because it's this weird thing. But no, the final reveal, I almost, because of how the creature design didn't work for me, I almost feel like I would have rather they just didn't show me anything at all.
Agreed, 100%.
And so yeah, that was a big part of this. A couple of big things for me on this movie are honestly just a couple of very, very big plot-related questions that I have. Two of them in particular. First of all, since when have cops tried to, cops, we all know will, cover for each other and make up stories about all these things. But, when was the last time a cop said, I thought they had a gun, so I shot them, and they didn't get away with it? When was the last time that happened? I'm sure it has happened, but it's clearly rare enough that I don't fucking know about it. And that was a literal question I had, because that's a fundamental premise of your plot, right? And so that was within a few minutes of the beginning of the movie when we get to. I will say that one of the things I do really appreciate about this movie as a found footage movie is it doesn't fuck around for a half hour before it finally gets down to business. This one gets going from the jump, and it goes. I really appreciated that.
It's real good at giving you the business.
Well, and, again, it's a 75-minute run. It gets in and out. But
that's what she said. I told you. I know some people who use 75 run in everyday conversation.
Please don't interrupt me, Michelle.
Continue. Sorry, I was just correcting
I'm
you.
I'm kidding. Interrupt me all you want. So, and that was a legitimate thing for me, is just and also, for that matter, not just that, but in that situation, I am by no means a cop sympathizer, but I'm almost you don't know what that guy has. It might be a weapon of some kind, and he fucking charged you while you're in front of a hole in his basement that you don't know where it goes to. If there was ever at least a reasonable argument for a self-defense kill, this is it.
I hate that I had the exact same thought where I was like, you're making me defend a cop shooting a guy who didn't have a weapon? How dare you?
There was a moment where I was just like, man, is this going to turn into some propaganda shit? Is that what this is? And thankfully it doesn't, or I don't know, maybe it did and I just overlooked it. But yeah, just that opening premise to me was, I didn't buy it I didn't bite at all. And then the other one is, I understand why the white mustachioed cop, who was that, Jackson or Bryce? The jerk cop, the killer
white
cop.
guy is Bryce.
Officer Bryce. I understand why he is completely oblivious to this underman thing. But the other cop, Jackson, his mom herself is apparently some kind of expert on this thing.
Priestess,
if I
recall.
Even, who's against him. This random chick that they go to get their body cam footage erased, she immediately knows what this is. Seems like everybody in this neighborhood that he grew up in, where his mom is the anti-Underman priestess, knows about the legend of the Underman, but this guy. How is that possible? It doesn't make any sense. And when I'm asking myself those questions this whole time, it completely prevents me from getting into the story at all. I like the idea of this. A couple of cops show up to what seems like a normal domestic disturbance at a trap house, and it turns out to be some sort of weird fucking demon cult. And there's a moment in there where they talk about how, like, oh, the demon comes in, like, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, like, the demon is meth addiction. It's a demon. Is this a different drug, or are we, like, I don't know. The story didn't work for me on just about any level.
I haven't even mentioned the thing that bothered me the most.
Have
about
at it.
this
I just
movie.
rambled for a long time. You tell us about your thoughts on the film.
I'm not going to be able to ramble a lot, but I cannot decide if I love or hate the mom's kitchen. It's pink with green cupboard doors. She's got like this open thing with very decorative like plates and bowls up top. So those are like her favorite ones, and they're very pretty. And I cannot decide. I watched the scenes in the kitchen a couple times just so I could look at the kitchen, because I'm like, is this awful or magical? And I still don't know how I feel about it. And that's really the most upsetting thing is at that point in the film, I was already checked out. And then the entire time I was just checking out that kitchen being like, what the fuck? Who decorated this? Like, I love it and hate it at the same time. I want my kitchen to look like this, but also if my kitchen looked like this, I would kill myself. And I can't figure out which of those things is true. So... anyway, that's my number one complaint, is that kitchen is something. I also, yeah, just, it didn't work for me. I didn't think I was going to have a lot to say about it because, yeah, here's the thing, like, it's multiple components of things that I usually would like, but together in this, I did not enjoy. I love found footage, so usually that's right up my alley.
Yeah, I was curious
I love
how
watching,
this was going to play for you, just because of that.
Yeah. I love watching cops get their comeuppance. That's always real fun. I like when there's a freaky little demon guy, like a weird person I haven't seen before, but I guess also I like it when I don't see them and they look like that. I like a group of people just staring up at the ceiling like there's a spider up there, like my cat has been doing for 10 minutes. So I did like that moment. Maybe she's, the Underman is here and Pudge is trying to tell me by staring up. But like, I like the components of it. I think the story of how this all played out just did not work in any capacity that I found believable, and it kept me checked out the whole time.
Yeah,
for that reason.
Look, I gotta be honest with you. Looking into Brandon Christensen's filmography, because again, fella has done movies that I really enjoyed, but he has two separate features credited in 2025. Bodycam and Night of the Reaper both are showing as 2025 releases on IMDb. And I find myself wondering if maybe the biggest issue with Bodycam is maybe they just pushed it too fast. You know, maybe they tried to get on it real quick. And get another, maybe if they had spent a little bit more time developing the story. Of course, I don't know how long they spent developing this. I mean, it's just a theory. But it just felt like it was very rushed in a lot of ways. And like there were little things that could have been done that would have brought it together. And look, I'll be honest with you. There are plenty of movies even that I've seen where like there's a creature reveal and the creature design and effects are not super good. Here's the first thing I'll always say. I'd rather see cheap practical effects than cheap digital effects any day of the week. I would rather your practical effects fall short in the believability category than your digital effects. But you're always willing to forgive more when the movie has brought you in, right? And I feel like, I want to be like, I just want to be like, there are plenty of movies where this has happened and it doesn't change things, but there were just so many points where small changes could have made this a lot better for me.
I agree. I was trying to think if I have literally anything else to say, and I don't.
No.
I can't think of anything.
I don't either, and
it's just very vanilla.
Yeah, and look, here's the thing.
Except I like vanilla.
I also want to point out, because I like to make sure I do this. Right now, this movie on 23 reviews is 83% fresh on Rotten Tomatoes, right? So 83% of reviews on the movie are positive. Right now, reviews on the Shudder website, there's a couple of 5 skulls that it's showing me, several 3 skulls here that it's showing me. So people are enjoying this movie. Just because we didn't enjoy it doesn't mean you won't enjoy it. If you dig found footage, if you dig like weird satanic demon cult shit, this might work for you. There's some cool effects at the end. And this is a solid point. Like when he's driving around at the end and there's the digital effects going on, making the buildings disappear and change. Again, not the highest quality, but I don't know, that worked better for me. I thought that was a really interesting idea. But yeah, this might well work for you. We're clearly in the minority here on this, looking at these different reviews. So always want to make sure to point that out if there's something that we didn't care for.
And if you're listening, Brandon Christensen, yes, I am bullying you. I'm going to send you mail. And
she loves Night of the Reaper.
I'm going to give you a wedgie and stick you in a locker, you nerd.
She really enjoyed Z.
I did. I did really enjoy
Neither one of us very much remember Superhosts. Maybe I should have left that part out.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. At least I didn't hate it.
Michelle, this is going to be our shortest episode in a while.
Oh, thank God. I'm sure everybody's like, yes, we're tired of an hour and a half.
Well,
and it includes a whole discussion about my tongue.
Well, and that's what happens this is what can happen when your movie is only 75 minutes long.
I do love that. Yeah. And plus, I'm having a terrible day.
And look,
so
I
could
you,
do
again,
anything that's shorter.
When it is a movie that I'm not getting into, man, clipping out at 75 minutes, thank you. I appreciate that. At least I didn't stick around for too much longer. And that's why a 75-minute running time will always get you at least a 2 skulls.
My biggest complaint about this movie is that I didn't have to spend much time watching it, is what JD essentially said, which is very funny.
I mean, yeah, when you really parse it down, my favorite thing about this movie is that I didn't take long to dislike it.
Okay.
Well, good times. Well, Michelle's had a really rough night, and she's still got to try and figure out what the fuck is going on with this website. Michelle, honestly, leave it until they get back to you. It's not that. I mean, I understand you did a lot of work on the Squelch Files today, but at the end of the day, it's just deep breaths. You're gonna be fine.
Okay, here's the thing. On Friday, I had an encounter with a terrible woman right before the movie, and it's one of those things. We're at the end of the episode. If you want to click off, fine, go for it. But I'm going to tell JD something. So we're going to keep recording. I encountered this woman who was very unpleasant in a way that confused me, and I've been so hyper fixated on it in a way that I'm just like, because if there's a social interaction where I don't understand how it happened, I fixate and I can't get it out, even if I'm like, yeah, I was in the right. Like, I don't have to be anxious about this, but I still am. And this woman, we were going to the theater, and she was standing directly, like, stopped looking at her phone, like, directly in front of the theater doors. And she happened to stop there she was with 2 other people, like her kids or something. And she stopped there, like, right when we got to the theater. And I was like, oh, you happened to stop right where we were. I think it was like, you stopped right where we were trying to go. And I was trying to be like, oh, ha, 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 like, terrible coincidence. And she's like, yeah, well, it was only for a second. And I was like, Jesus Christ. And I, like, walk into the theater. And then she's like, next time say, excuse me. And I was like, what the fuck just happened? I said, ope. Ope is Minnesotan for excuse me. If ope, you stopped right where I was trying to go. Like, I laughed about it because I was like, oh, what a terrible coincidence. And there was room for me to get around her. So it's not like I even had to say excuse me. I just went around because there was space. She didn't have to move. I moved around her. It was a bizarre interaction, and I feel like my entire year is ruined.
Oh, I know how that goes. I've had those exact same kind of interactions. Here's my advice to you immediately on that one, Michelle. Just try to remember that lady has children, and that's all the justice the world needs.
Oh, see, I was thinking, because I'm pretty sure she was with, like, it looked like could be her children, like age-wise. Otherwise, she's just hanging out with teenagers, which is its own problem. But I was like, did she just see a terrible movie? And secondly, like, I hope she does not snap at her children like that, because that's immediately what I thought. I had a traumatic childhood, and that's immediately what it made me think of, where I was like, holy shit, how did we escalate to that? And I'm like, that's just sad. And so I have just been thinking about it, and even though I'm in therapy, you guys, but this is one of those where I'm like, hey, I'm not having a panic attack about it for 3 days. That's an improvement, but I am fixated. And she keeps popping in my brain because I'm like, I was not in the wrong. I'm just very confused because I was trying to be like, ha ha ha, you stopped where I was going, and I went around her because there was space to do so.
How dare you
Bizarre.
have the audacity to speak in public, Michelle?
Here's the thing also, in that situation, if your first response is to snap, it was only for a second anyway. It sounds like even if I had said, excuse me, you would be defensive about how you're not actually inconvenienced by my presence. And she would have been mad no matter what.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. That's somebody who knows they're being a bitch and doesn't care and does it anyway.
Yeah. It was just, I'm still so confused, and my brain being the way that it is will not. And I think that's partially why my tongue is now sloughing off, because I ate more sour candy watching a movie I didn't enjoy and thinking about that woman. And she's just, I just feel bad for her. Like, she was in such a bad mood and I did nothing to contribute to it. And it's like, if that's your default, that's just sad.
Do you really feel bad, Michelle?
I do. That's part of therapy, is I'm starting to feel bad for people and put myself in their shoes. And if that's your response to somebody being like, ha ha ha, ha ha, I'm slightly inconvenienced, but in a silly way, then you're having a bad time. And it's just sad. Anyway, it didn't have to be part of the episode. I just had to tell you, and it happened at a theater, so it's relevant.
That's fine. I thought for a minute there you were going to say that just because of therapy I'm starting to have feelings, and that almost made me giggle.
Well, that too. I am learning how to communicate, and I've learned the phrase, I appreciate that, when somebody is saying how much they care about me, that I can say things like, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I also value your friendship. I'm learning. That was human, right?
Learning. All right, cool. Michelle, we're stretching this out
Yeah.
longer than we need to. Give yourself a break.
Yeah.
Say goodnight, Michelle.
Good night, Michelle.